You're listening to ThunderQuack Podcast Network.
Hello and welcome back to the ThunderQuack podcast. I am, as always, your host, Michael Cohen, and joining me, the illustrious Joe Hogan.
How are we doing, my man?
Oh, doctor. Well, we just recorded 3 hours of Force Perspectives, so go check out that episode. We ranked all of the lightsaber duels. We talked about the latest controversy, and then also, like, while we were recording, they announced a Mando and Grogu movie that we had to then go back and we had to record another additional 30 minutes to tag on to the episode. So, all of that to say, we have no time for shenanigans on this episode, Joe.
Straight to
We
biz.
have no time. We took the first week of 2024 off. Not really by design, just because I planned December so well that I forgot January existed. And so that first week of January was coming up. I was like, well, we do not have an episode to put out this week. But so here we are. You're getting Force Perspectives and ThunderQuack in the same week. So if you're a Patreon supporter, you've got those in your Patreon feed right now. Thank you for supporting us. If you are a regular listener, then this is Friday, so some of this is a little bit old news, but well, I guess this isn't really. I guess the Star Wars thing is old news, but Force Perspectives is also out today, so go listen to that, download that as well. Right off the bat, two big things. We want to welcome Carl and Jason to the ThunderQuack Podcast Network. We're not really welcoming them to. They've both had podcasts on the network in the past, but they've now brought the Wampus Lair to ThunderQuack. Yeah, so go subscribe to Wampus Lair and give those guys some love for all of the great stuff that they put out. Yet another Star Wars podcast on the network. Can't have too many. There's that. And then the other thing is that in February, so the next time you're hearing an episode of the ThunderQuack podcast, we'll be kicking off our pledge drive. So we want to get our Patreon pledges up, and just so that we can do some cool stuff this year, and just pay bills and all that sort of thing. But I to do that, to incentivize you guys, we're going to be putting out bonus episodes for all of the ThunderQuack shows in the month of February. So throughout that month, there will be bonus episodes for everything, all of the active shows. So ThunderQuack, Force Perspectives, Rebel Cells, Wampa's Lair, Saga Continues, Epic Marvel Podcast will all have special bonus episodes that'll only be available on Patreon. And then on top of that, we're going to have some goals that if we can hit certain milestones by the end of February, that we'll have some other projects for you guys to be excited about and to work towards. One of those being the one that I'll announce now is if we can hit a certain level, details to come on this, but we hit a certain level, then Curtis and I will go and we will finish season 2 of DuckTales over on Disney Dad's Cartoon Afternoon, which people have been asking us to do since 2018, the last time we put out an episode. So we'll finish season 2, and then depending on how that goes, we'll either continue with DuckTales or maybe we'll switch over to Gargoyles, because I'd like to do that. But if you want to bring back Cartoon Afternoon, this is going to be a way to do it. Showing support on Patreon. So the two ways that you can do that, if you've never subscribed before, you can head over to patreon.com/ThunderQuack and sign up. You get early episodes of ThunderQuack and Force Perspectives. You get exclusive stuff like Off the Record, which is our Patreon exclusive podcast. and you get for Perfect 10. Oh, I didn't even mention Perfect 10 in the bonus episodes. You'll get a bonus episode of Perfect 10. Actually, I have a pretty good bonus in mind for Perfect 10. I'm not quite ready to reveal it yet because I gotta think about exactly how I want to do it. But there's a specific film that everybody's like, how come you haven't done this on Perfect 10? It's very obvious. If you think about it for even 2 seconds, that I don't know, maybe we'll put out as a special episode just for Patreon supporters,
There you go.
to get you guys to sign up. But you can get the Perfect 10 pop quiz, which is our companion show to Perfect 10, where Tim does trivia questions every episode for every Perfect 10 that we do. So, which if you're on Patreon, by the way, the final 2 to get caught up are released today as well. This is all going up at the same time. Once I've edited everything, I'm just going to post it all at once. So look forward to that. Go check that out. Support us on Patreon. The other way is if you're a Patreon supporter already, you can go and you can edit the amount that you're pledging and increase that. So I know that there are a lot of people who are still on the $1 tier, which we've removed because we got rid of all the tiers, right? There's just the one fee. It's just one membership. So you can either do it $5 a month or you can do it for the year, which knocks off, I think, 10%. If you do an annual on Patreon. I just wanted to like simplify it. Everybody gets all the rewards so that all of the stuff that we're making goes out to as many people as possible. And as a result, we have a bunch of people who are still at the $1 level. We also have several people who are at like $10 or even $20 when they don't need to be. They could be at the $5 level, but they're supporting us at that higher level just to support us, which we appreciate. But you can go in. I don't think you can do it on the app, but I think you can do it on the website. You can go in and you can basically put in a custom amount. So even if you're at $1, even if you just increase that to $2 a month, if a bunch of people did that, it would be a pretty big jump. So, yeah. So everybody go and support if you can. If you can't, that's cool. Just, tell a friend, share the podcast, spread the word, get us some new listeners, and maybe some of them might sign up for Patreon. You never know. So, but in any case, everybody who does support us on Patreon, thank you so much. Everybody who supports us by listening and sharing and all of that sort of thing, thank you. You guys are the best. We have the best online community that I'm a part of on the internet. I don't know if there's a better one, but not as far as I'm concerned. You guys are the best. So thank you for all of that. And that's all of our housekeeping out of the way. Okay. Are we
That's
ready?
it. All
Are we
right.
ready to dive into this?
Oh my God, there's a lot to dive into.
There's a lot here. I didn't think there was this much because I hadn't heard about a lot of these movies.
I had
We
no
are
idea.
we are gonna run down all of the currently announced uh, releases for 2024. We're gonna go in chronological order. So it is currently January 9th, this Friday. Our first thing on the list here. Not a lot to talk about here. The Beekeeper, starring Jason Statham. I just think that Jason Statham is great. I will not see this in a movie theater. I will definitely watch this 3 years from now on Netflix. But it does look fun. He's a beekeeper, but he's not really a beekeeper. He's like a CIA, FBI, wet works, whatever, Black Ops, SEAL Team 6, something. I don't know. He's a secret agent, and he's just gonna kill a bunch of people that are bad guys. That's fine by me. It's fine by me. I just choose to believe that anything with Jason Statham is still his character from Fast and the Furious. Just like undercut. He just has all of these identities because it's the Meg, Fast and Furious.
The Meg, yeah.
Doesn't matter. He's like, I'm underwater McSee guy. And it's like, no, you're not. You're still the same guy from that other. It doesn't. You're a good guy in this one. Doesn't matter. You're a bad guy. Doesn't matter. You are still the same character because Jason Statham. You have one speed, and that speed is awesome. And that's it. It doesn't matter. It makes no difference, is what I'm saying. Just put him in a movie, and I'll watch it at some point.
The transporter too, right? Isn't the exact same thing?
Yeah, he was transporting stuff until he was transporting so fast that he got really furious, and then he's in the Fast and Furious movies.
That happens. Okay.
Is he in a Transformers movie yet? I don't know. He should be. We'll find out later in this episode. Uh, so that's January. Bit of a slow month. That's fine. Jumping into February, we got Argyle on February 2nd. This is I is it Matthew Vaughn? I think it's Matt. Is that the right director? The director of the Kingsman movies.
Okay.
So this is a Kingsman movie, guys.
Mhm.
Like, don't let them fool you. They put a different rapper on it. This is just like the Jason Statham thing. Like, come on, guys. This is a Kingsman movie. It's just not starring the Kingsman. And I think that by the end of it, there's apparently a twist. And I think by the end of it, we will discover that it is in the Kingsman universe.
I was just gonna say, is the twist like, like
Absolutely,
what was it, Glass or no? What was the other one? The one before Glass.
the Shyamalan movies, they all ended up being part of Unbreakable. Yeah,
Can't think of it.
yeah, exactly. Henry Cavill, Bryce Dallas Howard, Sam Rockwell, a bunch of other ridiculous actors, all hamming it up and doing the ridiculous action. A CG cat for most of the movie. Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. I can't wait. It looks like it's going to be a very good date night movie, I think.
Okay.
But February 14th, a movie that's not going to be good for date night, but that is coming out on February 14th anyways, that is coming out against all odds and better judgment, and that is Madam Web. Listen, I love the Venom movies. I love both of them.
They're great.
We got Venom 3 coming later this year. We'll talk about that. But Craven and Madam Web also coming out this year. Craven got pushed. It was supposed to come out last year, and it got pushed. Craven looks absolutely awful, like irredeemable, so bad, Morbius, right? Like, but Madam Web, I don't know. I'm not sure. I think it's going to be awful. It looks like it's probably going to be awful. There's an outside chance that we just don't understand what this movie is, in the same way that with the Venom movies, it was like, well, this is dumb. How can you make a Venom movie without Spider-Man? Well, it turns out that if you turn it into a romantic comedy between a man and his alien symbiote, it works beautifully well. And if you get Tom Hardy to improvise getting into a lobster tank at some point, you've got yourself an A+ movie. Like, so is Madam Web also going to likewise come out of left field and surprise us with something really fun? I don't think it's going to be a great movie. I don't think it's going to be like a masterpiece by any stretch of the imagination. Could it potentially be fun to watch? I think so.
Yeah,
I think so.
Maybe if nothing else, I'm sure some memes will come out of it.
It's
1,000%
already
for the
right?
last 3 years we've been hearing.
Yeah, already my mother studied spiders with him in the jungle or whatever. There is already a meme from this movie. But I mean, like, the upshot of this one is that it is introducing I believe 2 spider women, as well as Aranya, who was another one of like the spiders. So this Spider-Verse implications here.
Pretty cool.
Characters that are going to be introduced on screen, characters that deserve it, absolutely, that are awesome comic characters. So yeah, I'm down for it. And we've seen in the trailers that we will get to see them in costume. What that means in the story, I have no idea how they're going to get there over the course of this film, but I don't care. I will be seated at some point.
I'm very worried. Not worried, because I have no dog in this race if this movie is crap. I kind of feel like this is going to be, we're going to see the suits in the last 5 minutes of this movie. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's a third act. It's a third act. Yeah, for sure. 1,000%.
Whatever.
But here's where I'll say the first great movie of the year is March 1st, and that's Dune Part 2. I can't wait.
I'm excited, man. I'm excited. I only saw the first one recently, and just because it was like, I heard it was long, I didn't want to, I don't want to watch it until I had time to really sit down and pay attention to it. And I had also heard that, like, it was slow at parts. Man, everything I heard did not track for me because that movie went really fast for me.
Did it?
Like, really quick. And I, like, looked at the clock, I was like, "Wait, what?" It flew. I really, really love that movie. I'm really
It's
excited for part 2.
Denis Villeneuve. It's all of his movies for me are like it's like, yeah, they're slow, they're quiet, they are absolutely boring in all of the right ways. They are beautiful masterpiece films. He is an incredible filmmaker. And Dune Part 1 was no exception to that. I mean, like, I think it's one of his best movies. Um yeah, like, such an accomplishment, and I can't wait for Part 2. I think it's going to be
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah,
excited to see this one in the theater because as I was watching that first one, I was like, "Oh man, I kind of wish I
dude.
went to go see it because this would have been amazing."
I wish that I had made the time to go see it in IMAX, which I didn't.
Okay.
But yeah, yeah, they just opened an IMAX. The theater that's like 5 minutes away from my house just put an IMAX screen in,
Oh,
so
cool.
now like IMAX is right there.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, the next big movie. This will be the next big movie in IMAX for me, and I will definitely see it. Um, if there's an opportunity to see Part 1 in IMAX beforehand, I might even do that too.
Oh, that'd
But
be cool if they did like a double feature kind of
yeah.
thing.
Yeah. I mean, a double feature would be a whole day. It would be like 6 hours. But so after that, this one's interesting to me. I'm a big fan of the character Rayman and the Rayman video games. So Rayman's big movie. I didn't know that this was coming.
I had no idea they were making
Absolutely
this.
none. Yeah. But could be fun. Could be good.
I don't know anything about Rayman as a character other than he's Ubisoft's Super Mario. That's it.
Yeah, there's not really much else to know. He's
Okay.
just kind of a platformer
He,
character, right?
he
So the story of the games is not, I don't know. There's not really a lot to go on there.
it's the
I
origin
don't know.
story of why none of his limbs and his head are
Yeah,
attached.
yeah, but yeah, I think he's a great design for a character, great world that he lives in with all the other characters. I don't know it super well. I've just played the games sort of
I
casually, right? But
I feel like the rabbits are just gonna be like minions, right?
yeah,
Like there's
absolutely,
nothing else for those characters to do in this movie. Would
absolutely.
be
But
minions.
yeah, but they'll out minion the minions, I'm sure. Um, And then just as we were about to record, another piece of big news dropped, which is that Ghostbusters: Frozen Empire is moving up a week to March 22nd.
Oh my god, I'm so excited for this movie. This is my movie of the year. This
Yeah,
is
for
like
sure.
I'm so hyped for this movie.
Yeah, this is the most important release for me as well. I can't wait, and yeah, we will be there. We will be seated. We will have post shows to talk about it and pre shows and everything. Listen, March is going to be Ghostbusters month, you guys. Like, just buckle up, prepare yourselves. Um,
Perfect 10, Ghostbusters 2. I'll do it, man. I
listen, all
love that
right,
movie. I
let's do
love
it.
that movie.
I love this plan. I March 29th, Kung Fu Panda 4. Obviously, Ghostbusters getting out of the way. I listen. Where do you let a Kung Fu Panda sit? Wherever he wants. This movie's gonna make a
No
bajillion
shame.
dollars,
No shame.
and Sony is smart to move Ghostbusters up a week and get it out of the way of this thing, because this is listen. This is the thing, we've talked about this a million times throughout the history of ThunderQuack. Um, Family films dominate at the box office for a very
Mm.
simple reason. Kids want to go see it, they drag their parents, and that's two tickets. That's two
Minimum.
tickets, right? Like, for
Minimum.
Dune, I only got to buy my own ticket. I just got to go, I can go by myself, one adult human, right? But in order to go see Kung Fu Panda 4, my kids require that I go with them.
Mhm.
So I yeah,
And maybe your wife.
and maybe my wife. So I don't know. I love Kung Fu Panda, like the first movie, and then it's kind of diminishing returns for me. It's a bit of a Shrek situation. It's like every time he comes back, he kind of wears out his welcome a little bit more. Um, but at the same time, I don't know, I love Jack Black Tenacious D is recording a song for this. So
Oh, okay.
I don't think that they were going to release it as Tenacious D. I think they're releasing it as Jack Black and Kyle Gass, but
Okay.
because maybe you don't want to sort of like gateway the 7-year-olds into
Sure.
Tenacious D. But but yeah, they're recording us an original song for this movie, and that's exciting.
That's funny.
Yeah, I don't know. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. I'll go see it. I Here's my next big movie of the year: Godzilla Cross Kong, The New Empire. I Yeah, man.
Is that how you say it? Godzilla cross Kong?
I
Like
mean,
if
it's an
you were
X,
to,
so I don't know. Is Godzilla X Kong Godzilla and
I don't
Kong?
know. Well, I'm genuinely asking.
I
I'm
don't
not
know. I don't know
criticizing. I have
either.
no idea. Okay.
From here on out, I'm going to start referring to this movie as GXK, like just to piss people off and just for
Okay.
brevity's sake. But yeah, I mean, like if you listen to the most recent, I think it was the most recent episode of Off the Record, which is our Patreon exclusive podcast where I just talked to myself for an hour. I talked all about Godzilla, and I talked about what an incredible year it has been and will continue to be for Godzilla. Like the 365 days from Godzilla Day of 2023 all the way around the calendar. It's ridiculous. Monarch is just like, it just gets better and better every week, which is the Godzilla TV series on Apple TV Plus, whatever subscription thing. It's so good. It's so good. And I realized why in this last week when I'm watching the opening credits and it's like written by Matt Fraction. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, that makes sense. If Matt Fraction wrote it, it's awesome. He very seldom misses. So yeah, and it just keeps getting better and better, and I think it's probably building towards some stuff for GXK. And building on all of the previous movies. I mean, like, I love this continuity. I love how much fun they have with it, but I also love that it's got like some serious sci-fi chops to it, as well as like real heart to some of the characters that have been featured throughout. So yeah, I mean, like, if you're not caught up, Godzilla 2014 and then Kong Skull Island, I suggest watching them in release order. Some people would say you could do it chronological and you could watch Skull Island first, which is technically, it's in the 70s and it predates Godzilla. But
No, I didn't realize that.
yeah, so Kong Skull Island and then King of the Monsters and then Godzilla versus Kong, to get caught up, and then watch Monarch. Although to watch Monarch, you really only need to have seen 2014 and Skull Island thus far. I don't know, that might change, but at the moment, because it takes place in between the two Godzilla movies, between Godzilla 2014 and King of the Monsters, but it's got a lot of Kong Skull Island stuff sort of peppered throughout it, because it also takes place in multiple timelines, present day, not present day because it's 2015, as well as like it actually goes the furthest back. It goes back to like before Skull Island, to like the formation of Monarch. And yeah, the show's so good. It's so good. I don't want to say anything else about it because I don't want to spoil anything. But we're getting close to the end of the season, so it's like ramping up and getting just awesome. And this new one looks great. It's got a little mini Kong in it. It's got a bigger Godzilla in it. That's like, he's like on all fours and shoots ice breath or something. I don't know. And like the toys show Rodan, and Rodan's got like some sort of like battle tech thing that he puts on, and it's just like, this movie's gonna be ridiculous. Titan fights and all of that sort of thing. So the next week we get part 2 of Rebel Moon, the Scar Giver, released on Netflix. I don't know that I'll bother. I haven't said a lot about Rebel Moon because I just don't want to be negative. Like, I don't want to like add to the echo chamber of negativity around this movie. It was just a miss for me. It just, like you said, you were 40 minutes into it.
Yeah, I'm pretty early into it. I didn't hate it, but I also wasn't super
Yeah.
I guess not engaged. I guess I wasn't super invested in it. I'm gonna finish it because like it's not like I
Yeah, go for it.
actively disliked
Yeah.
it, but like
There's
you
no
know I
reason
was
not to,
yeah
but I will say this. I got to the end of the movie and I could not give two whits about any of the characters.
okay. How
About
many
any of
parts
the
is it?
stuff that happens, like who made it out, who didn't, who like what alliances and yada. It's I was just like I will say this. Rebel Moon takes all of the wrong lessons from Star Wars and blows them up to like a macro scale.
Am I
Um,
remembering this incorrectly? Wasn't it originally pitched as a Star Wars
yeah,
movie?
yeah,
Okay.
it was. Um, yeah, it is. He is way too focused on his world building, and not enough on an actual story.
I
It
wonder
just
how much of that is because originally the world was already kind of fleshed out for him because it was Star Wars, and
yeah.
now as a result he has to do all of this, picking up the
he
slack to do that.
Yeah, I think Rebel Moon is something that we need to like take an episode and maybe discuss at some point,
Okay.
because like once you finish it, like maybe next
Yeah,
month we'll
sure.
do that, but or maybe I don't know, maybe we'll do it in April in the lead up to this coming out.
April
But
1st.
um I think like I said, he took all the wrong lessons from Star Wars. And listen, the Wachowskis
Okay.
did the same thing. They did the same thing with Jupiter Ascending, right? It's not that Jupiter Ascending is that bad of a movie. It just focuses in the wrong area. Absolutely. Like, and that, because that was them trying to do Star Wars as well, right?
Hmm.
Um, and the funny thing about the Wachowskis is that like they'd already actually done their own Star Wars and they did it properly, right? The Matrix does spend a lot of time in world building, but it spends the appropriate amount of time in world building.
Right.
It spends way more time getting you to fall in love with its characters so that you can then go on the ride, right? And then in the subsequent movies, I feel like it focuses in again on world building too much, and that's where it lost a lot of people. But if you focus back in on the characters yourself, if you do that extra bit of work, it's worth it. The Matrix films are better than they get credit for.
I enjoy. Yeah, I like those. I even like the new one.
The new one's one of my favorite movies of the
Yeah,
last 5 years.
new one's cool.
Is so good. But Jupiter Ascending, it made the same mistakes that Rebel Moon did. The difference is that Jupiter Ascending was visually interesting to look at and had some pretty likable characters, including the bad guys. I Whereas I find that Rebel Moon, it's just like, yeah, they're space Nazis. You didn't do anything else with them. You did
Mm.
literally nothing else with them. Nothing there's some other like world buildy type stuff, but it's like this is a bad fantasy novel wrapped in a Star Wars lookalike. And yeah, so I said I didn't want to get negative. um I want I wanted to love it. I really did, because I have
Mm.
friends who really liked it, people who I really respect, who have very high opinions of it. And it just didn't do it for me. It just didn't resonate. I just could not get into any of these characters or their struggle or the galaxy or any of it. I was like, you can all just get blown up for all I care.
All right. Well, let me, like you said, let me finish it, and then
Yeah,
I'm
finish it. We'll
more than
come back
happy
and
to
talk about
discuss it.
it. The following week we've got the movie Civil War. I don't know if you've seen the trailer for this.
Triple Void. No, I haven't. Is this like the American Civil War? What is the
Yeah,
Civil War?
this
Okay.
is like so the premise of the movie is that America has had another civil war, and there's
Oh.
like two sides, and it's like,
Oh, okay. I did hear about this.
let me bring up the director. This is the only reason that I give this any credence, is because it's directed by Alex Garland and written and directed by Alex Garland. So Annihilation, Ex Machina, 28
Yeah,
Days
yeah,
Later,
sure.
right? Like his pedigree is enough for me to look past the silliness of this concept. and a bit of the execution, and say like, okay, maybe there's something here that's worthwhile, and I'm just not seeing it yet. So that's why I've kept it on the list, because like I'm interested. He's got my curiosity. um the following week, now Deadpool moved from this spot. I think Deadpool 3 was originally supposed to be the beginning of May, and it's moved to
Oh, okay.
July. But we got the Fall Guy, which is the Ryan Gosling, and who's the other one, who's the the his romantic counterpart in this, um um Mary Poppins. She's married to Mr. Fantastic, Jim Halpert. uh,
Oh, Emily
uh
Blunt.
Emily Blunt, yeah, she's the other half of this.
She's Mary Poppins.
Yeah, yeah, she was
Uh,
Mary Poppins in the remake.
They
Wasn't
made
she?
they remade Mary Poppins.
Yeah, Mary Poppins Returns or something like that.
Where
Cara
the
loved
hell
that
have I
movie.
been? I had no
Yeah, I don't know.
idea.
This is years ago. This is like pre-pandemic, man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Anyways, this movie looks great. This movie looks fantastic. Ryan Gosling, Emily Blunt, they have great chemistry. The trailer is like, I'm sold. I'm 100% sold. He's a stuntman who ends up embroiled in like a real world like mafia something or other going on with the star of the movie, and Emily Blunt is the director of the movie, and they had like a thing, like they were like they dated and broke up, and so now he's got to go like save the day in order to save her movie, in order to win her back, sort
Hmm.
of thing. And it looks fantastic. It just looks like a fun like rom-com action movie. So yeah, another good date night movie.
Cool.
Couple weeks later, we've got If Imaginary Friends. This is starring Ryan Reynolds, and the Steve Carell's a voice of one of these imaginary friend guys, and there's a whole bunch of other cool people in it. It looks great. It looks like a really fun family movie. Yeah, I'm down. I'm down for Ryan Reynolds being a sarcastic imaginary friend. I think that's fun. Now we get into the real meat. We get into the real beefy weekend of May. May 24th, my birthday.
Woo!
Furiosa, a Mad Max saga.
Oh my god.
Unfortunately, this is a real poop sandwich on this one, because we got Furiosa on one end, and then we got the Garfield movie in the middle, and then Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. The fact that they're releasing Furiosa and Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes on the same day is just like, somebody was just like, Mike, we'd like you to have a happy birthday.
You got it, buddy. Here you go.
I will be at the theater on Friday, May 24th.
And they will
for the
only have
whole
tickets
day.
to Garfield.
Yeah. And I will watch Garfield 3 times. No, I am definitely doing a back-to-back
Oh,
double
cool.
feature
Okay.
of Furiosa and Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, because I refuse to wait. The only question for me at this point is, which one do I watch first? Because like, do I want to, because the Planet of the Apes is going to be the bigger deal for me. I'm a massive Planet of the Apes fan. It's like, it is probably like my least talked about, most important fandom, because like there's just not really a lot of opportunity for me to talk about Planet of the Apes all that often. But like, I haven't just seen, I own all of the movies on 4K, which is not normal. Most people will be like, what? I have watched all of the live action television series as well as the animated series for Planet of the Apes. Like, I've seen all of it. The only thing that I haven't delved into with it, and obviously the newer movies, whatever, that's easy. Everybody likes the newer movies. But the only thing that I haven't jumped all the way into is the Marvel Comics series from the 70s.
Oh, okay.
And they're putting it out in an epic collection to coincide with the
Oh,
release of
really?
Kingdom.
That's
And
funny.
like, it's the whole, I'm pretty sure it's the whole series in one epic collection. It may be, I don't know,
Crystal.
maybe they'll split it into 2. I don't know how many issues they did, but I'm getting it. I am
I was
getting
just
it
gonna say,
because it's like,
Crystal. Your husband's birthday is coming up.
because it's like the one gap in my Planet of the Apes knowledge. But I don't think it's canon.
Okay.
Like that's the thing, is that like the TV shows for like the old movies are like in line with the old movies. It's all canon. Like it's all one story. Like this is like my original MCU. It's like people don't understand because I don't, like I said, I don't talk about it very often. I've talked about Planet of the Apes a little bit as like the newer movies have come out, but yeah, I mean, like it was ThunderQuack, like old ThunderQuack. Amanda really didn't care about Planet of the Apes, so there wasn't really a lot of back and forth to get into there, especially like not the old ones. But like I love the old movies so much. Like Planet of the Apes, the original, Charlton Heston, despite him being who he is, let's separate art from artist on this one big time. Um, like that movie is like beyond a perfect 10 for me. Like that movie is one of the movies that I point to. I'm like, this is not just a great movie. Like this is an important piece of like cinematic history. Like you don't get to Star Wars without Planet of the Apes. It's only a few years before, but like it's maybe a year before. But it is like it's foundational, man. Like it's like that in Star Trek the original series. Like they, I feel like they go hand in hand of like
Sure.
old
Yeah.
school sci-fi. Like that's what it was, right? And they don't make movies like that anymore because people won't go see movies like that. Like very, very few and far between. It's funny, we brought up Alex Garland. I feel like he makes movies like the original Planet of the Apes with the stuff that he does, Ex Machina and Annihilation and stuff like that. And Denis Villeneuve with something like Arrival. Like we just don't get sci-fi like that anymore.
Yeah.
And
Dude,
yeah,
Arrival's so good too.
man, the original Planet of the Apes, I love it so much. It's one of those perfect tens that's like, I haven't found a person yet that'll match me, that'll like go along for the ride with me and be able to talk about that movie in the way that I want to talk about it. And that's not a slight, and that's not me being like, it's like it is just, I'm just trying to express what my level of engagement with this franchises.
Mm.
I can't really even explain it all that well. I don't know. Maybe just because I haven't taken the opportunity to do it, right? Like I have with Star Wars or Marvel or Superman or whatever, right? But yeah, there's something about it. There's something about the sci-fi elements of it that it just, yeah, it's such a perfect exploration of humanity through this other lens, through this genre of storytelling. I can't wait for Kingdom. So what I will probably do is see Furiosa first, because although I expect to enjoy the hell out of Furiosa, I am I have very high expectations for Kingdom of Planet of the Apes. Probably so high that it'll be a disappointment, but
Oh no.
well, it's the first one in this modern era that's actually like it's actually like proper Planet of the Apes, right?
Okay.
Like it's not, this isn't like a prequel, like they haven't taken over yet. This is the first one where it's like, no, the apes all speak English and like they have their own civilization, all of that stuff. And it's like, I want it. I want it so bad, Joe. I want it so bad.
What was the first one in this new canon? What was the name of it again?
Rise. It was the
Rise.
movie
Okay.
that kicked off the Rise title craze because it
Okay.
was a huge success, and then everybody titled their movie Rise, Dark Knight Rises, and Rise of Skywalker, Rise of the All Spark, or I don't know what the Transformers one was, but there was a Transformers Rise of something. Um, yeah, yeah, Rise of the Planet of the Apes, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, and then War for the Planet of the Apes
Okay.
are the three that are out,
So there's three.
which
So,
are
okay, there's
all
three so far.
impeccable films.
Okay.
Um,
I only saw the first one. I don't really remember it. But I'd watch it again. I'd watch those movies.
yeah, they're so good, dude. They're so good. Like, and like because Dawn um is when it really like kicks off. I and that's when Matt Reeves took over.
Okay.
So
Is
he did Dawn and War.
is Andy Serkis in all of them?
Yeah, Andy Serkis is in
Okay.
all three,
Cool.
and I don't think he's in the new one, but
Oh, okay.
it remains one of the biggest miscarriages of justice that he has not been nominated for more awards for
Oh
that role.
God. Across the board with everything with him though.
Yeah, absolutely. But like Caesar is his greatest role thus far. Like as good as he's been in anything else. Yes, he's Gollum. Yes, he's Snoke, and he's great as those roles. But Caesar is a role where like he does so much with so little over the course of 3 films, and when you get to the end of War, it like the journey that you go on with that character, you absolutely forget partway through the second movie that this is a performance capture character. You
Hmm.
just it leaves your mind in a way that it never does with Gollum or Snoke or any of the other performance capture that he's done. It just you completely forget that that character is not physically in that space with those actors.
Hmm.
And we're talking about like he's acting against some real actors in these movies, right? Like it's not we're not messing around
Hmm.
in these films. Yeah, it's one of my favorite Gary Oldman performances in the
Hmm.
second movie.
Oh, I didn't know
Woody
Gary
Woody
Oldman. Cool.
Harrelson is so good as the bad guy in the third. Um, yeah, he listen. Andy Serkis does such a good job that James Franco gives a believable performance as a biology like a bioengineering scientist in the first movie. Like you actually do believe that he's curing Alzheimer's by and then by accident creates the simian virus and all of that, right? Like you believe it because you're not really paying attention to him, you're paying attention to Caesar, you're paying attention to Andy Serkis
Hmm.
the whole time. And John Lithgow's in that first one and he gives an incredible performance in that
Oh,
movie
he's
as well,
awesome.
like so good. So yeah,
Cool. All right, yeah,
I love
I will check
all
those
those
out
movies.
because it's they've always been on my radar.
Yeah,
But I just never got around to it. And I like that first one. I just don't remember it all.
yeah, I mean like it takes such a left turn in the second movie. Like it's a trilogy, but it's really like it's one movie and then and then 2 more movies that take place much after it. But
Jeez. Okay.
um, yeah,
And I'm very excited for Furiosa. I love Mad Max. I
yeah,
love uh the most recent one. Fury Road is
yeah.
amazing.
Fury Road.
I actually think outside of anything Star Wars, I think Fury Road has my favorite soundtrack from the last like 10 years.
Hmm,
I love the music in that movie. I'm so
it's
hyped.
great. Yeah, yeah. Anya Taylor-Joy and Chris Hemsworth, like sign me up. I'm there.
Yeah.
I'm there. I'm there. Yep. Okay. Getting into June, we've got Ballerina, which is the first in this new John Wick spin-off series. So this is like it's in the world of John Wick. If you remember in 3, there's like he goes to the they help him or whatever. I think
Mhm.
I it's like it's these ballerinas and they're also hitmen,
Mhm.
murderers, assassins, whatever you want to. So yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. It's one of those ones. I don't know if I'll be in the theater for it, but I'm curious. And then we got Bad Boys 4. I am not a fan of the Bad Boys franchise. It doesn't do it for me. It never has. I don't know. I just don't connect to it. But I know that other people will be excited about it. And then similarly, we've got Pixar's Inside Out 2. I don't know who was asking for this. Um, but apparently some folks really wanted to journey more into the psychology of a teenage girl.
Sure.
Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I just like the whole thing with this one is we've introduced a new character, Anxiety, and I'm just like, thanks, but I'm good actually. Like I don't need to live
I
vicariously,
already know my anxiety
yeah,
myself.
through her anxiety. Like I got it. Yeah, anxiety. It's not fun. Anyways, I don't know. I'm sure that it'll be great, but I'm sure that I'll also hate it. Um, I tend to not like the sequels, the Pixar sequels, but we'll see. Despicable Me 4 kicks off July. Huh. I could have
Sure.
sworn a fourth Despicable Me already came out, but I don't know. between Minions and Despicables, I don't listen.
It's all jumbled together.
They all, yeah, they are all the same thing as far as I'm concerned. I am so not in on this specific franchise, but I recognize that a lot of people really enjoy it. I don't know, which one did I watch? I think I did watch the Minions movie and I enjoyed it. Like, it was all right, like it was okay, that was kind of funny, but yeah, I don't know, doesn't really do it for me. Twisters, I left this on here. I didn't look this up.
I'm gonna look it up.
Think this
I
is
think
the
we have
sequel
the
to
same
Twister.
question. Are you serious? They're
Yeah.
making a Bill Paxton's dead. Who is it? Just Helen Hunt? Let's see.
I don't know. Let's look it up. Twisters
An
2024.
update to the 1996 film Twister, which
Yeah, Helen Hunt's in it. There's already
what the
Casper
hell?
Van Dien's in it. Get out of town.
What? Oh, Dusty's dead though. That was Philip Seymour Hoffman. Daisy Edgar Jones. What the
Listen, Kiernan Shipka's in it. I love Kiernan Shipka. Glenn Powell from Top Gun Maverick.
Who is Kiernan Shipka?
Sabrina, the Teenage Witch, the new
I haven't watched
Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Or any, I don't even see Helen Hunt on here. Where's Helen Hunt?
I don't know. I saw her. She was on the thumbnail on the trailer that I saw. Twister.
Is there a trailer?
No, that might not be the same thing. Twister 2 may have already been a thing. Or maybe that's just fake. Maybe that one's fake. That one might be a fake YouTube. Helen Hunt, Casper Van Dien. It's Twister 2.
I don't see anyone from the original movie on here, and it's upsetting me.
I'm not on IMDb, so...
I am on... yeah, that's where I am right now.
Yeah, you're looking at a real thing. I was looking at a... Oh, Katie O'Brien's in it? Get out of town, you guys. David Cornsweat's in it. He's going to be Superman, so let's watch that with the hopes that he shows us some Superman stuff in it. Just a little bit of... I just want to see his pedigree. It's like when I started watching all the Oscar Isaac movies in advance of The Force Awakens, just so I knew who he was. And then I was like, I love this man. I am in love with this man. Yeah, man. I'm down. Glenn Powell. Listen, I have ideas about Cyclops in the MCU that involve a little bit more wild casting and going outside of who you would think of for Cyclops. If we're going to go straight down the middle, Cyclops, white guy, Scott Summers, there is no one else that I want to play that character than Glenn Powell. His performance in Top Gun Maverick, I was like, that guy is Cyclops. Like, that character is Cyclops. Like, just bring that character over into the MCU, give him some glasses. That's Cyclops. Like, let him be that guy. And whoever you cast as Wolverine across from him, I think it will be fun. Yeah, he will put the capital D in Cyclops. But I don't necessarily want them to go that route with the MCU. I want them to be a little bit more bold. Yeah, I want them to. I really want them to just like the core X-Men characters. Like, I want them to be like teenagers. I want to start there, and I want to mix it up.
Sorry, I'm still trying to wrap my head around this whole Twister sequel thing.
Yeah, it'll have more than one Twister.
Who asked for this?
But isn't more than one Twister like the whole climax of Twister? Isn't it that like 3 massive tornadoes come together and form the biggest tornado ever?
Is that what happened?
Isn't that the end of Twister?
I don't remember that happening.
Or is it just
it was just a big Twister. I just remember the F5 came in.
What movie is it? There is a movie where like a bunch of Twisters come together and make a bigger Twister.
Sharknado. I don't know.
What movie has a bunch?
Maybe you did see Twisters too.
Twisters,
whatever the hell.
Yeah. Coming together into one big Twister. Yeah, I don't know, man. Google, you didn't help me here. Anyways, how they made the cow fly in Twister. It's computers, you guys. It's not that hard. And then this list is a little bit confusing. because it's on July 26th, it has Captain America Brave New World, but then it's got like a little thing that's like
Yeah.
pointing at 2025. It got moved, right?
Let me quickly.
And then Deadpool 3 is in its place. I believe that that's accurate. Is that like Deadpool 3 took the spot for Brave New World, but that like Brave New World is being like reworked because there was something. There's a, I think I don't want to get too into the weeds on this. I think that what happened is that there's like an Israeli superhero in Brave New World, and then the world is what it is right now. And I think that Marvel is like, we should probably steer out of this.
And just like, nope.
And I think that they might be like reshooting a bunch of it to get rid of that character.
Okay.
Because there might be some real world politics at play that could cause some serious problems.
Sure. Yeah, it says 2025 on my.
Okay, yeah. So that got pushed like a year. So Deadpool 3 on July 26th. I just want this movie already. We knew that this was going to get pushed because of the strike and everything, but I just want it. I just want it. I just Wolverine and Deadpool traveling across time and space, multiverse nonsense. We already know a bunch of other characters are in it. Like, let's go. I'm good.
Is Borderlands the game as a movie?
Yeah. And this like Kate Blanchett and a bunch of other big actors are in this. It's a big deal. It's not going to be good. It's not going to be good. It was supposed to be out last year, I think, and
Jack
then
Black
got pushed
is
and pushed and
Claptrap.
pushed.
Oh man.
Yeah.
This is weird.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very weird that we haven't seen anything since the original announcement of this. It's been a long time since we've seen anything, and that was like a year, maybe 2 years ago. It's been a long time. This movie has been in production hell.
Oh, Baby Ahsoka's in it. It's Tiny Tina.
Oh, nice. So that kicks off August. That's August 9th. August 16th, Alien Romulus. A new Alien movie is coming out this year, you guys.
I'm so excited about this. Honestly.
Had no idea.
Yeah.
I know that there's the TV series that they're working on, but I didn't know that a new movie was coming. I'm down. I still haven't seen Covenant or Prometheus. Is there another one?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wait, you haven't seen Prometheus?
No.
And you haven't seen Covenant, obviously, because Covenant takes place after it.
Yeah.
That's very surprising.
I know, because I love the Alien franchise as well. And like I love it in a way that like I have no problem with the fourth movie. Like,
oh, I love the fourth movie.
Yeah,
it was actually the first one I ever saw. I love that movie.
Ron Perlman is great in it.
Judging by this cast, I don't think it takes place like in the same time as Prometheus and Covenant. I don't know when this takes place. I don't recognize anyone on this cast.
Yeah. Meaning like you don't recognize them at all, or
no,
like...
I don't know who any of these actors are, so therefore I don't recognize their characters like ever being established.
Kaylee Spaney is an actor. She's having a moment right now because what's the movie? I think Priscilla, the Elvis movie. She's the lead. She's Priscilla in that, and so it's like she's on like the awards circuit. She's like a big deal on the award circuit right now from this movie. And then but I know her. She's been on my radar for a while, since 2018, because she was the other lead across from John Boyega in Pacific Rim Uprising. She was the girl who could build her own Jaegers. And she was awesome. And I was like, this girl is great. She was really young at the time, and I was like, this girl is great. Like, she should be in a million things. And then she kind of disappeared because that movie bombed hard. But yeah, she did something else. I think she did like a TV series or something like that in between, and but now she's having her moment. So her being an Alien, that's exciting. I'm down for it.
Yeah, neat.
And then August 30th, we can all avoid the movie theater and not see Kraven the Hunter. I think that's the best.
It's Morbin time.
Yeah. But this movie is going to make a crap load of money because Reddit or TikTok or one of these social media platforms will turn it into a meme.
Mhm.
And it'll be a meme to go see it. It's like when they were like, go see, what movie was that? That like all the like teenage boys would wear, like they wore suits to go see it. It's like a movie that it's like an animated movie.
Oh,
I think
wasn't
it
it
might have been in
Minions?
Despicable Me or something.
I thought it
I
was
think it might have been
Minions. Yeah.
Minions too, something like that. And like they all would like basically like dress up like they were going to prom to
Right.
go see Minions too. Which is funny. That's hilarious. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not throwing shade at that. I think that that is fantastic. And anything that gets like teenage boys to do something constructive, like as a
Is that
community,
really
I think is great.
constructive?
I think it's more constructive than the things that they're being told they're supposed to be
Sure. I
doing,
mean, a lot of
right?
TikTok trends and all that nonsense are oh god, that makes me sound really old. But um,
It's
yes,
better
I
than them getting
agree.
radicalized by alt-right
It's
nonsense
definitely
online, right?
it's
Like,
definitely better, but I
yeah.
still wouldn't call it constructive. Unless
You're
like
being
being part of a
a
little bit of a cultural movement, sure.
you're being a
Like
grumpy old man. You're being
I
a
am.
grumpy old man.
I know I am. I don't get it, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't.
Let the 14-year-old boys have
Yes.
fun
It's
wearing
look,
suits to Minions too,
it's
right? Like,
funny and I'm glad they did it. Put it
yeah.
that way.
I consider that constructive because it's not destructive, right? They're
Okay,
not
sure.
vandalizing something. They're not using that power and motivation to like to take the legs out from something. They're just going to a movie that they like, right?
Sure.
Like a thing that they grew up with, and they're just being silly about like how serious they are about Minions too. I think that that's perfectly fine. It's the sort of shenanigans I got up to when I was a teenager. We just didn't have the internet, so nobody knew about it except for me and my friends, and nobody thought we were funny because we couldn't find each other. But had TikTok existed when I was 14, I would have been there. I would have been there. September 6th. Here's the next big surprise. Alien Romulus, big surprise. This one's an even bigger one. Beetlejuice 2.
Wait, you did not know that this movie was being made
No.
or that it was coming out yet?
I heard rumors that they wanted to make a new Beetlejuice, but I was like, is
Oh,
that
no,
really
yeah, this
happening?
okay. This one I was
Um,
aware of.
yeah, oh man, I'm bringing this up on IMDb right now and I'm looking and we've got Jenna Ortega.
Mhm.
Perfect. Perfect. Um, Willem Dafoe is listed in this film. This Willem film.
Willem Dafoe.
Monica Bellucci is Beetlejuice's wife. And then we got Catherine O'Hara coming back as Delia Dietz. I'm here for it. Winona Ryder coming back as Lydia, and obviously we got the goat. I mean, like, come on, guys. Michael Keaton, he just keeps coming back and playing characters, and I'm excited about it. And the movie that he did it in last year was bad, but he was good in that
He
movie.
was phenomenal. I
Yeah.
was so happy during his scenes, but
Despite the
only
rest of
those
that movie
scenes. Yeah.
being actually offensive to me. Yeah, his the spaghetti scene. The
Oh,
spaghetti
yeah.
scene is one of the
Awesome.
best scenes in the DCEU
Awesome.
in the worst movie in the DCEU. It's amazing. He's so good. Um, Justin Theroux's in it. Red Plum himself. Uh, I That's a Last Jedi reference for folks who aren't as Star Wars as we are. I'm down. I'm down. Beetlejuice 2. Like, listen, do we need it? No. I think we said everything we needed to say with the first Beetlejuice. But did I love the first Beetlejuice when I was a kid, even though it was totally inappropriate for me? Absolutely, I did. Did I watch every episode of the cartoon show? Yeah, because it was on TV and we didn't have TiVo or PVRs or Netflix, so you just watched what was on, and it was on, and it was not offensive to me, so I didn't change the channel and I watched it. And I had toys, and I thought it was great. I love Beetlejuice, so I'm down. I'm down for more Beetlejuice. I hope that we get Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis cameos in it. That's what I need, though. That's what I need. I don't need to know. I don't want to know if that's gonna happen. I want it to be a surprise,
Mm.
but I do require it myself as a purist. Anyways, there's one actor that should absolutely not be in it because we don't talk about him anymore because of the things that he did. The things that he did. It really makes watching Beetlejuice and Ferris Bueller very difficult. Very
Oh, I
difficult.
was like, who are we? Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. We don't need to get into it. What we do need to get into is September 13th, Transformers 1. I saw this on here and we were like, wait, there's a Transformers movie coming out this year. And then I was reminded that it is an animated feature. Um, Joe, give us the cast list for this movie.
All right, so we've got Scarlett Johansson as Alita. You've got John Hamm as Sentinel Prime. Keegan-Michael Key as Bumblebee. I'm not sure if I'm saying... I know who this person is. I'm not sure if I'm saying his middle name correctly. Brian Tyree Henry.
Yep.
Who's the dad from Spider-Verse, right?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's also from Atlanta.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Donald Glover show. Yeah.
Lawrence Fishburne as Alpha Trion.
Nice.
Alpha Trion. Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Optimus Prime, Chris Hemsworth.
Like, no notes, guys. No notes. All of that casting is fantastic. The one Chris is keeping his stank off it. We avoided that. We didn't even talk about Garfield. Like, Garfield is I love Garfield. I've always loved Garfield. Garfield and Friends. Come on, guys. Like
That's
we are
OG
of that
90s
age,
cartoon,
right?
Maybe
And
80s.
no, in early 90s.
Okay.
Yeah, I love Garfield. Grew up with Garfield. We used to check out Garfield comic strip books, like the collection books from the library, and keep them for way too long, and end up paying like $30 in late fees because I didn't take them back because I love them so much. Garfield's fantastic. Put them on the inside of your car window, okay? But Chris Pratt just like phoning it the hell in. Like, I think maybe literally this time phoning it in. Like, literally just sitting at home, just reading the script out loud. And they went, yep, good enough. Because what's in the trailer? Nothing funny about it. Absolutely zero funny jokes. And not very Garfield. And his performance, not very Garfield. Like, I'm sorry, man. Lorenzo Music, he gave us everything we needed to know how Garfield was supposed to be performed, to the extent that Bill Murray, when he played Garfield, absolutely referenced that performance in the most like circuitous, beautiful piece of happenstance, being that Bill Murray originated the character of Peter Venkman, and then Lorenzo Music comes along and makes him shine in the real Ghostbusters. And is also Garfield, and then Bill Murray plays Garfield in the live action movie. Like it just like it was such a perfect closed loop.
Yeah.
Not that those movies were any good. They weren't.
No,
but Bill Murray did his thing, and he would but Bill Murray paid respect. He paid homage to the original voice of Garfield. Right. I would sooner have Dave Coulier reprise a Lorenzo Music. I don't know that he ever played Garfield. I don't think that he did, but I would sooner have him come in and play Garfield, because he took over for Dave in Ghostbusters. I'm saying all of this stuff, and I know that like Joe knows, right? Like, I know I don't have to explain any of this to you. You know all of this stuff because you and I, the Ghostbusters, it is our DNA, in our genetic code. But for those who don't know, because there's a lot of inside baseball stuff, but so Chris Pratt being nowhere near Transformers 1 and instead having Hemsworth, the superior of those two, certainly. I mean, like, listen, Chris Pine is the top as far as I'm concerned, and then Chris Evans is right underneath him. And look, it depends on what I'm watching. I might flip that, but I just watched Dungeons and Dragons last week, and like, Chris Pine's so good in that, and he's so good in the very little bit of Spider-Verse that he's in. He's so good that it makes me go like, I want a whole movie with that.
Who is he in? Who is Chris Pine?
Chris Pine is the first Peter Parker. He's the blonde Peter Parker that dies.
Oh, right. Okay.
At the beginning of Spider-Verse.
Okay.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Hey, did you? I don't know, because I don't know that everybody has put this together. So I just want to make this super clear, because we've never talked about Across the Spider-Verse on any of the
Mhm.
podcasts. Andy Samberg being
Oh,
Ben
dude,
Reilly Scarlet Spider
dude.
is a joke on the fact that he does a Nicolas Cage impression,
Oh,
and
really?
Ben Reilly is like an over dramatic Spider-Man character, right? Like his whole arc is like so dramatic, so melodramatic, that they cast Andy Samberg, because Andy Samberg famously does a Nick Cage on SNL, where like, and there's like a Weekend Update where like Nick Cage and him are side by side doing each other, basically, right? I
That's
mean that in
awesome.
every way possible, all the entendre included. Um, yeah, so because Nick Cage obviously is Spider-Man Noir, right? So like they cast Andy Samberg for that reason. Like that, it's a joke. Like there's a joke there of like there's already a Nicolas Cage DNA in the Spider-Man voices. So we're Andy Samberg, and that's why Andy Samberg's vo- vocal performance, voice performance, whatever you want to say, is kind of awful, but it's kind of awful on purpose, right? Because he's supposed to be like super dramatic in the way that
Well,
Nicolas
yeah. I mean,
Cage was
it's
being Nick Cage.
pretty
I
clear
mean,
that
like it
yeah,
worked
he's
for me.
supposed to
I
be
never
so over the
questioned it
top.
in the
Yeah.
movie. I was like, that's that's Scarlet Spider. Just sent me a picture. He's wearing a Scarlet Spider t-shirt right now.
Dude, Scarlet Spider is like one of my favorite Spider-Man costumes,
Love it.
period,
I
of
love it.
all of
I love
Spider-Man
it.
lore.
So anyways,
It's
Transformers
Spider-Man
1.
with a hoodie, a sleeveless hoodie. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
And
He's so 90s.
the spider logo's on an angle, you guys.
Yeah, it's sideways because he's really edgy.
Um September 27th, closing out September with Saw 11. I don't care, but I
Yeah.
know that other people like Saw movies, so
Sure.
left that on there.
Cool.
October, we jump in with Joker Folie à Deux, which is the sequel. Listen, I'll watch it and I'll probably afterwards say that it's a really, really well made film and that I'll never watch it again, just like the first one. Because that first Joker is an incredible movie. What a movie! Holy smokes! I never want to see it ever again. It's one of the best movies that I will never watch ever again in my life. And this one will be the same deal. Lady Gaga is a version of Harley Quinn. It promises to be a very, very good film that will probably like make me feel disgusted to my core. But that's the point. Like that's what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's just a lot of those types of movies. It's like I will watch them once so that I have seen them and that I can experience them, but it is not the sort of thing that I want to revisit. So I don't know if I'm anticipating it, but I will see it.
Yeah.
October 25th. Sorry, go ahead.
No,
If you want to add
I
anything.
was literally gonna say, yeah, that's pretty much where I'm falling for
Yeah.
that too.
October 25th, Wolfman. I assume that this is a werewolf Wolfman. I don't know. I didn't look it up. Wolfman 2024. About a man and his family who have been scared to death by a deadly predator. No, it's not about werewolves.
Do we
Never
know that for sure?
never mind. Yeah, I just read that description off of IMDb. It does
Yeah,
say
but
werewolf horror.
that doesn't mean that it couldn't be. It's a deadly predator. Why
Yeah.
couldn't it be?
Yeah, okay. No, and then it is tagged as werewolf horror. So I take it back.
Ah, okay, there you go.
Maybe this is a werewolf movie. If it is a werewolf movie, then I'm interested because I like werewolves. And it's Halloween time, so give me a Halloween time werewolf movie. Cool. November, kicking it off. November always a good month for movies. And this one doesn't look to be any exception. We got Venom 3, baby.
I'm pumped. I don't care. I love those movies. They're awesome.
Dude, like this is why we are such good friends. Like we are. It's meant to be. Because yeah, man, just give me more of this. I'm down. There's nothing on IMDb about this. It is untitled. It comes out this year. Tom Hardy, Juno Temple from Ted Lasso, Chiwetel Ejiofor I don't think he's playing Baron Mordo, but I'm not going to rule it out. I'm not going to rule it out, you guys, because he's got the sling ring and he can go into another universe. He can travel through the multiverse, you guys. Wouldn't that be wild if like we barely like Baron Mordo in Doctor Strange 2 didn't fulfill any of the promise of like the character from the first Doctor Strange movie, and like it's like that is one of the threads out there that's just still like dangling in the MCU of like Baron Mordo's out there stealing people's magic, and Doctor Strange still doesn't know. It's been like 10 years and he still doesn't know that Baron Mordo's like the blip happened. He's still out there stealing people's magic. Anyways, it would be wild if the reason why he doesn't know is because he's in the Venom universe. I'll take it.
That'd be neat.
And then November 22nd, Gladiator 2. Now,
Why?
I don't know who's making Gladiator 2. How this is going about, but
It is a. I'm looking at it. It is a direct sequel because
yeah,
it follows Marcus Aurelius, I'm sorry, not Marcus Aurelius, Maximus and Lucilla's son, Lucius. It follows the son, the little kid
yeah.
in the first movie. It follows him. So Pedro Pascal's in it. Denzel Washington's in it. It's cool.
Pedro Pascal's in it. There you go. Here, okay, I'm gonna admit something. I've never watched Gladiator all the way through.
Oh, really? It's actually decent. I mean, for an action
Because
movie, it's fine.
I had an axe to grind with Gladiator
Uh-oh.
because everybody compared Gladiator and Crouching Tiger
Oh, that's
because they came out the
stupid.
same year.
That's
And so like
stupid.
especially like during award season, because they both came out like really close to award season, so it was kind of like nominations came out and then everybody was like, oh, this is gonna win over that. And so Gladiator won Best Picture over Crouching Tiger, and I've never forgiven it for that because
That is very silly.
Crouching Tiger is I
Yeah,
think a
Crouching
better
Tiger's
movie,
awesome.
even though I've never seen Gladiator. But
You should watch Gladiator.
yeah,
Gladiator
I
is a
should.
good
I probably
movie.
should. I probably should.
It's
But
a fine movie.
yeah. But what about that one time in the chariots and you can see the air tanks? So dumb. People are so dumb. That's not a reason to think that a movie sucks. Yeah. And then on the 27th, we got Wicked Part 1. So we're finally getting the film adaptation of the musical Wicked, which I'm excited for because I enjoy a musical, and Wicked is apparently really good. I've never seen it because I don't really go to live theater because it's cost prohibitive. But I can go to movies, and that's much easier. So I'm down to see this in the theater. Um, and enjoy it and then be like, cool, I like Wicked now. So yeah, and then Crystal really likes the books, so I'm excited for that because it'll be a thing that we can go to together and enjoy, which is not always the case. There's also a movie coming out that day called The Incredibles.
There is an Incredibles 3 on IMDb listed for 2024.
Listed for 2024, yeah. And so I'm a little bit like, is this those Incredibles? If this is Incredibles 3, I'm upset.
2 Pixar movies.
Because and they're both sequels and they're like, so I really 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 dislike Incredibles 2. The first movie is fine. I don't think the first movie is a very good superhero movie. I think it's a fine movie, but I don't think that it actually like does superheroes particularly well. But it's from a different time. It's from a time when superhero movie meant something slightly different. Um, Incredibles 2 is a piece of sexist trash. Yeah. Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it. It does the Mr. Mom thing and it does it way worse. Mr. Mom, by the way, Michael Keaton movie. The reason why people were like, that guy can't be Batman because he was Mr. Mom. Mr. Mom, fantastic movie. that is not even remotely sexist, even though it was made in like the late 80s, and had every right to go, maybe the early 80s, mid 80s, let's go with mid 80s. uh yeah, had every right to be sexist because of the time period that it was made in, but is actually like a great movie about the fact that yeah, when he starts being Mr. Mom, he sucks at it. He sucks at being the primary caregiver for his children because he doesn't know what he's doing because he's been career oriented. But like the end of that movie, he has his mental breakdown, but then he gets his act together and he's a great dad by the end of it. And the whole thing in that is that like they flip, right? Like he was the career guy making all the money, she was the mom, and then they flip and she goes back to work, has an incredible career, climbs the ladder, super successful, and he becomes awesome Mr. Mom dad, right?
Mm.
And so like I look at that, I'm like, that's like, this is how you do it. Is that like the point of that movie being anybody can fulfill any role. You just got to like do it, right? Like anybody, any dads can be primary caregivers. um Incredibles 2 is like, look at this stupid dad. Look at this stupid dad who can't dad anything. And it's like, well, first of all, one of his kids is like a teenager. So like that teenager, like Violet should absolutely just be able to like help, and like doesn't really. Like it's just, it's really really poorly written, and it's written from a really weird like dated misogynist sort of perspective of like weaponized incompetence, where he's like, I shouldn't have to be the primary caregiver, I'm a man. And they're like, oh yeah, because we're making a point about that. And it's like, but you never actually make the point in that movie. Like if you go through that movie, it never actually gets to the point of like him realizing that like if he just cared for 5 seconds, that he'd be a much better dad than he is.
Mm.
It just continues with him being like hapless, and it's like the Homer Simpson dad, Phil
Yeah.
Dunphy.
Yeah.
Although like this is the thing, is that Phil Dunphy subverted that on Modern Family, because Phil Dunphy was actually an awesome dad, right? Like he was actually like really attentive and caring and loving, like he was actually a really really good dad. He was just an idiot, right? But like this all kind of comes out of the Homer Simpson thing of like Homer Simpson and Al Bundy sort of in the early 90s establishing this thing of like Homer was like dads are stupid and Al Bundy dads suck, right? And so everybody, like that became the archetype for like most of the 90s, is that like, oh, men suck at raising kids. And I really take issue with that. So
I can tell.
yeah, because I along with several of my friends are like I take care of the girls way more than Crystal. She's, especially right now because I'm unemployed, right? But like her job requires her to be sort of all over the place all the time, and she doesn't really have a set schedule. So I'm with the girls a lot more. And I don't know, I it just ruffles my feathers. It really gets under my skin that the majority of media does that, and that that Incredibles 2 thought that it was being clever and like making some kind of point, but it doesn't stick the landing. Like by the end of it, there's just like, well, if we're just all a superhero family together, it's like, no, that's not the point. Let her go be a career woman. Like let her go do that if that's what works for your family. And like you shouldn't, there's no like, but I'm a man. It's dumb. It's dumb. And they leaned into like the 1960s aspect of the Incredibles to like try and tell that story, and it was just wrong. It was just wrong and bad, and set some really bad examples for men. And yeah, I don't think you should do that in kids movies. I think that's kind of my point, is that like you really shouldn't be doing that in a kids movie. I think that we should be showing really great examples of parenting in kids movies, unless it's like Matilda, where it's like the whole point is that they're the bad guys.
Mm.
But you can't make the hero of your story a bad dad and then there's no consequences to that, because that's kind of what by the end of the movie there's like really no consequences to the fact that he sucks at being a dad. It's just everybody just kind of goes, well, that's men for you. And then they figure out balance by the end of it, which means that the mom, Elasta woman, whatever, Elasta girl, I don't know if she changes to Elasta woman, whatever, she just has to like be both things. which is like not fair, right? Is like you got to be a superhero and a mom. It's like you can't go be a career superhero. Like if that's what you're doing, you're being a bad mom. So it was like it sucked for her, and it sucks for dads. Like it was not a good portrayal of anything in parenting. Crystal's not a bad mom because she works the job that she works. Like she's a great mom, but like her job keeps her away from us way more than anybody would like, and it's just the way that it goes, right? Like yeah, it makes me mad. It makes me real mad as a dad. That movie just really rubs me the wrong way. So I don't know, maybe The Incredibles 3 will come and it'll fix that, but I highly doubt it. It'll probably triple down on the weird hey, weren't the 1960s sexist? Let's tell a story about it. And yeah, because that's the first movie kind of does that too. Anyways, I don't need another Incredibles movie, thanks. I
Well, what
really
about a
wish
new
that
Lord of the Rings movie?
a new whatever. The War of the Rohirrim? I don't know. I don't know what that means.
It's
I'll,
a prequel taking place at Helm's Deep, well before the war.
yeah.
So
It's because the Rohirrim are the horse people, right? They're
I have no idea.
the
I don't
Rohan,
know
the
my Lord of
riders
the
of
Rings lore
Rohan.
that well.
Yeah,
I've
neither do
seen
I.
the
Although I
films.
love Lord of the Rings, I'm not. My brain is too filled up with Star Wars that like the Lord of the Rings stuff kind of just slides off of it most of the time. It's like I retain about 10% of what I'm fed.
I enjoy watching them, but as soon as I'm done watching them, like everything I saw is out the other side.
Totally, same. That's I have to like watch them again in order to remember. Like, oh yeah, that's right. December 20th, Mufasa, the Lion King. I think this is like a prequel.
I guess.
I think
Otherwise, it's gonna be a pretty boring sequel.
Yeah. it's just 2 hours of a lion corpse decomposing in the sun. Woof. It's like those Star Wars biomes things where there's like you just put it on your
really
TV like a
artsy
screensaver.
move, Disney.
Yeah. But whatever, who cares about that movie? Because December 20th of this year, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 comes out. I didn't think that Sonic 3 was this year, but I guess it is. When was Sonic 2? Was Sonic 2 2022?
I didn't even watch it. I have no idea.
Are you kidding me right now?
I like the first one, and it's just like, oh, the Sonic 2 movie. All right, I'll see it eventually. And
yeah, it was 2022.
I just never did.
So I think later this year we've got the Knuckles TV series coming.
Okay.
Yeah, this year. Which
is
I'm
Knuckles
excited
into? I think he is, right? It's Idris Elba, right?
You don't have to wonder. I'll tell you. I'll tell you. Okay. God.
I like Knuckles too, so I like
this is
I
where
intended
it's like,
on watching this movie. I just never got around to it.
On the one hand, it's like you and I, like we get it, like we're on the same page with so many things. But then this is what makes podcasting with you interesting, because every once in a while you say stupid stuff like
throw you a curveball, baby.
Just absolutely asinine things like The Last Jedi is your least favorite Star Wars movie, and that you didn't see Sonic 2. Like, come on, man. Sonic 2 was fantastic.
Okay, cool.
Super good, even better than the first one.
Is it streaming on anything right now? Because if it's
Plus,
streaming and it's easily available, I will watch it.
Yeah, Paramount Plus.
I don't have that.
So. Well, you gotta get Paramount Plus. It's got all the Ninja Turtles.
I am not paying for Paramount Plus. I'm not doing that. I will find another way to watch it.
Yeah, all the Ninja Turtles on Paramount Plus. You got all of the Transformers movies. I don't think the cartoons are on Paramount Plus, but
I'm pretty sure I have everything on Blu-ray Ninja Turtles that I want.
And then like all the Nickelodeon stuff. You got your Hey Arnold's, your Rugrats, your Real Monsters.
Aren't
is all on Paramount
on
Plus.
HBO? Aren't those on Max?
No, they're
crazy?
all Nickelodeon.
Oh, maybe it's Cartoon Network stuff is on Max.
Yeah, you're thinking Cartoon Network. Which I can understand how you get Hey Arnold sort of mixed up in there, because it's kind of.
No, I knew it's Nickelodeon, but for some reason I remember seeing like a big Nickelodeon collection somewhere on something.
And then listen, we gotta wrap this up because I gotta get ready to take the road for dance. Speaking of me being an awesome dad,
Let's do it.
Yeah.
2 left.
So wrapping it up, December 25th, Christmas Day. It's a Wednesday this year. Because it's a leap year, right? So it's like we went from Monday to Wednesday. Crazy. Because Christmas was on Monday last year. This one that we just had. Do you guys remember Christmas? It was like 3 weeks ago. December 25th of this year, Karate Kid and Nosferatu.
So Karate Kid has both Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio listed.
It does.
What the hell is this movie?
Yeah. I don't know. Because they just
Enter the
announced
Karate Verse. What the hell
They
is happening?
just announced it, but it is happening, and yeah, and this is all we know about it so far. Is that it's got the Mach and the Chan. I don't know if it's connected to the old movies. I don't know if this is a fresh start. I think it's probably a fresh start. I think that Cobra Kai, which is like imminent. I think the final season of Cobra Kai it's got to be in the next couple months.
It's this year though.
It is this year for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, but sorry, season 6, season 5 already happened. Season 6, so sometime this year, it's coming back, and we're gonna wrap it up. We're gonna go to the World Martial Arts Tournament. No, that's Dragon Ball.
I was just gonna say, and Goku and Chi-Chi meet each other. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah. But I mean, like, listen, it doesn't matter. It is the World Martial Arts Tournament. It is Dragon Ball. Cobra Kai is Dragon Ball. Like, it's anime. Cobra Kai is 1,000% anime. It's just live action anime. And I think it'll wrap everything up. I think it'll be done, and then I think this new Karate Kid thing will be like I think it'll be a reboot. I think it'll be a fresh start. And we'll get the Jackie Chan and we'll get the Ralph Macchio at the same time, and it'll be really interesting if they have scenes together, because Jackie Chan will be repeating the line of English that somebody just yelled at him from off screen, because he refuses to learn English properly, even though he was a massive star in North America. But that's fine. I have opinions about Jackie Chan. I love his movies, and I was a big Jackie Chan fan as a kid, and I hate that it turns out that he's such a terrible person.
Yeah, he sucks.
Yeah,
he's a jerk.
And that's where I'm like that. Like normally I would have the opinion of like, yeah, okay, like, you know, he's doing his best with English. He has all of the resources in the world to at this point to be able to speak English fluently if he chose to. If he chose to. He chooses not to. He thinks that he's the biggest movie star in the world, but he hasn't made a box office success since Rush Hour 2. So, you know, like actually, I don't know. Rush Hour 3 might have been a box office success, but it was not a critical success, and it was the lesser
I
of
saw
all.
2. I saw 1 and 2. I did not see 3.
1 and 2, both great movies.
Yeah.
Shanghai Noon, a great movie. Shanghai Nights, not so much. But yeah, having him across from Ralph Macchio, who, despite having his resurgence, again, similarly refuses to go to an acting coach, so that he can deliver a line of dialogue that doesn't sound like he just learned it 15 seconds ago. So the two of them across from each other, as much as like I love Karate Kid and I love Cobra Kai and I love Jackie Chan and I love all of this stuff, I just don't see this working out particularly well.
You're not gonna go on Christmas?
No, I'm not gonna go on Christmas Day. Crystal is calling me.
Oh, okay.
Which I'm just gonna answer this real quick. 1 second.
Okay.
Hi. Okay, I'm back. You still there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'm probably not gonna. I'm probably not gonna interrupt my Christmas day with the girls to go see this Karate Kid movie, but we'll probably see it over the Christmas break. I'll be there for it opening week. Uh, yeah, I
What
don't know
about
how
that
you feel
other
about the
movie
Karate
coming
Kid
out?
stuff.
Oh, I like Cobra Kai. I enjoy those movies. I am
Yeah,
not. I don't even know if I'm going to go to the theater to see it. Although I don't
yeah,
know
yeah,
because I do like Cobra Kai a lot. Um, that's probably going to come down to if Tina wants to see it.
yeah.
Because Christmas Day is actually her birthday.
Oh,
So
yeah.
if she
So it's
wants
up to
to
her.
see it,
It's
we'll
her
go
call.
see it.
Yeah. Yeah, Nosferatu. I Willem Dafoe is in this movie, and he's like a vampire hunter, which
He's not Nosferatu. Okay.
yeah, I tweeted. Well, because he played Nosferatu already once, right? He played Max Schreck, who played Nosferatu in the movie Nosferatu,
Wait, he
right?
played
So he
Max
played Max Schreck
Shrek?
in Shadow of the Bat, right? Or Shadow of the Vampire.
Oh, okay.
Shadow of the Bat, I think, is a Batman story. Shadow of the Vampire is the movie. Um, yeah, so I tweeted actually when they announced this movie and that Willem Dafoe was in it with an insane, absolutely unhinged pic of him in this movie, which is just the vibe. Oh my god, let's go! Like Willem, you're a beautiful human being. Um, yeah,
Who is
I
playing
tweeted.
Nosferatu?
I don't know, but I tweeted a thing of like this, like the fact that Willem Dafoe can play both ends of this spectrum 20 years apart, and we're all just like, yeah, right? It's just like he's magic. He's just magical. He's a magical person. Yeah, and that tweet blew up to the point that I had to mute it, like because
Oh
people just,
wow.
it resonated. I hit a chord, and people were like retweeting it like crazy, and I had to turn it off because it was just blowing up my phone. So I'm sure it'll be a great movie. It looks like a lot of fun. I don't know. Anytime Willem Dafoe shows up, it's at least good. You know what I
Oh
mean?
damn. Ralph Ineson, Sid from Final Fantasy 16.
Oh, nice. And Ballantyne from Willow.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
He's Nosferatu.
No. He's
He's just in it.
Dr. Wilhelm Sievers.
Nice.
I can't see, no one is listed as Nosferatu
Okay.
on IMDb. I don't know.
Well, listen. I mean, Ralph Ineson and Willem Dafoe is enough to
It's gonna
get
be
me
Chris
to
Pratt.
see it. And Chris Pratt as the voice of Nosferatu. Whoa, you guys! I'm a vampire now. I guess is this right? Is this am I reading the right script? Yeah, Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt.
Oh
Oh,
god.
how the mighty have fallen on that one. But man, it's oversaturation, and also the fact that he's kind of not a great human being. Like
Yeah,
he's kind of
crappy. A little crappy.
he's just really really good at hiding the fact that he's a bad person. But he's associated in an official capacity with a lot of really terrible humans.
He has a lot
Um,
of charisma, so I think that helps him a lot.
yeah, I yeah, he just put the stink on everything. You know what I mean? He just put that Chris Pratt stink on everything, and I just make me sad.
I mean, I gotta be honest with you. The reason, because it's so funny that you brought up the Planet of the. I mean, it was relevant to the list. I actually, maybe like 2 or 3 weeks ago, while I was working, like I just wanted to have some like background noise on, and
Yeah,
I almost put on that first Planet of the Apes movie, but it was just like I don't want to watch a James Franco movie. Every time I see his stupid face, I just
yeah,
get mad.
I get it. I get it. Some of these guys, like they just like their persona outside of their performances is enough to just
Yeah,
turn you off, you know. But anyways, well, we gotta wrap it up there because I have to take my girls to dance and I have
let's
not
do it.
prepared them anything to eat for dinner. So
Dunzo.
um
We did it.
that's 2024
Huge.
in a blink, in a I don't know, in Cliff Notes. I don't know. There's a lot of movies coming out this year, dude. I'm excited for a lot of these, and less for some of them, and not at all for a couple.
Garfield, day one. Let's go.
Gorefield, get out of here, Gorefield. Okay, give me. Let's close it out with this. Everything that we just put there. Let's take Ghostbusters off the list
I was
because I
just
won't
gonna
go back
say
and
it's
list.
gonna be Ghostbusters.
That's numero uno. Other than Ghostbusters, what's your number one? What do
Might
you?
be Furiosa for me.
Yeah.
Quick glance again.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it is definitely Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
Also, Aliens, man, that's such a surprise. I had no
Yeah.
idea they were making this movie, so that's really exciting.
That is exciting.
Yeah.
And I'm very excited for Venom 3.
Yeah, Venom 3
Very
will be a
excited
good
for
one.
Venom 3.
I'm excited for that.
We might have to do in November. We might have to do Venom Perfect 10.
Okay, yeah, cool. I'm down.
Unironically, because
Yeah, no, I love that movie.
that's not an ironic Perfect 10 for me. I actually think it's a really good movie.
Yeah, I genuinely enjoy that movie.
Awesome, cool. Well, let us know if you want us to do Venom Perfect 10 at some point this year, and we will maybe do that. Support us on Patreon, all that stuff. We'll be back next month for our Patreon pledge drive. I don't have like a catchy name for it yet. I gotta like brand it with something fun. But that's sort of like on my list of to-dos for this week. But yeah, get excited for that, get hyped for that, all the bonus content that we're gonna do. And I let us know, actually, like throw some ideas. What do you want Joe and I to do for the ThunderQuack bonus episode? Because there's a bunch of stuff that we could do, but yeah, let us know. And come hang out with us on Discord. If you go to thunderquack.com/discord, it'll take you to the invite, and then you can join our server. And social media, just go find us on social media. You know how to do it. Just use Google. We can tell you all these things, but then like just Google it. Just Google it, you guys. You'll find it. There is no other ThunderQuack podcast. It's just us. It's not that hard. There are other ThunderQuack accounts on Twitter, but they're not, that aren't us. But there's only one ThunderQuack podcast, except no substitutes. Joe, you wanna should I just cut the promo from the Forced Perspectives episode and put it on the end of this?
I can give if you want to do that, you can. Otherwise, I can do a real quick version.
Give us a quick promo where you're gonna be.
All right. So January 23rd to January 25th, I and my beautiful fiance Tina Kiri are going to be signing artists at Epcot's Festival of the Arts in Disney World this January. We are hopefully debuting some new prints, depending on how well production has gone. Mostly Star Wars prints. I have a Marvel print. And yeah, we're going to be there in the adventure, American Adventure in Epcot, those 3 days signing from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Come say hello. Hopefully we have some new prints. If not, we have some older prints, mostly Star Wars prints. And yeah, just if you're not in the market for a print and just don't want to carry around a print around Disney World, just come say hello and mention ThunderQuack Podcast, just so I know where you heard it from. But we would love to see you and chit chat, and yeah, so that's where we're gonna be, what we're gonna be doing.
Awesome, exciting stuff. Very excited for you guys. Everybody, go check it out. Buy art from Joe and Tina, or I'll be mad at you. I'll be very upset with you. I'll be very cross.
He won't be mad. He won't be mad. I promise. I'll talk him down.
I'm already mad. I'm already mad that you guys haven't already bought this stuff. Awesome. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for supporting us. And we will catch you on the next episode.